All right, so welcome back to another projects we don't love, but maybe should for Kickstarter. I'm doing this on a monthly basis, and what triggered me to do this video today was actually watching Kira cover a few of the Kickstarter videos that he does. He typically looks at the top videos, which is fine. It's better than nothing. But we're going to take a little bit of a deeper look to see if we can find some things that are worth saving. Last time, for instance, there was Bat Boy, which didn't get enough coverage, but I thought really should get a lot more coverage. It's a really fun indie game. There was a lot of other good ones. But today, what I saw on Kira's video, what caught my eye, was a game called Alpha Life, which is not an Andrew Tate simulator, but is actually going to be Sword Art Online simulator. So we're going to take a look at that right now. And I'm probably rarely going to do this, but I'm going to suggest strongly to not back this one until you see a lot more of who's going to develop it, how it's going to happen and everything. I like the fact that there's an exact number, 353,150 for the budget. That shows that at least hopefully some budgeting was done. But obviously it's going to take a lot more than that to make anything remotely resembling an MMORPG. That was going to be on PlayStation VR, Steam VR, Oculus. It's obviously, if you are familiar with Sword Art Online, it's a VR game that you get stuck in. So let's take a look at it. So let's see how much of the game we see in this video. If you've already seen Kira's video, spoiler alert, we're not going to see any of the game whatsoever. What you do see is some nice artwork that was probably put together by a third party, somebody that they hired to do this, using a lot of assets from the store, maybe something that they had built up already. This is nothing that I'm against. Like, honestly, as a developer, more and more come to appreciate assets that are already made on the store. Why reinvent the wheel, as they say, when you can just get a sword that looks like a sword, you know, if that's all you need. But it is a problem when your entire game can be made entirely using store assets, because that typically will mean that either you're making a very generic game or you're making a game that somebody's probably already made. There are obviously exceptions to that. But let's take a look down here. This is something that just to drive the point home. So for some reason, they highlighted this pet model, which is a semi-photorealistic cat. I'm going to jump over to a site called TurboSquid really fast. So here we are in TurboSquid. TurboSquid is a site that just sells 3D models that you can use. It's sort of like a generic store asset kind of store. And here we see the exact cat that is being used there. So here's this image, and there's the image again. So, you know, nothing wrong with it, but when what you're showing for an MMORPG is just an asset you bought from a site and just saying, let's make another RPG. I mean, let's make an MMORPG out of this one cat model that I bought. You've got a very, 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 very long way to go. I can't express to you how long that road is going to be. So what I would really recommend for Matthew, who's obviously seems very, very into doing this, I don't know what kind of experience he has. I know that he hired a composer. There's some music here that's actually quite nice. Good stuff. I do like the graphics that he's chosen. He seems to have some good taste. So really all I would say is start smaller. Think about projects that you can work on to build towards that. Get a track record. Start understanding what it's really like to make a video game if you haven't already. Or if you have, then definitely, you know, cite in the About Us sections. Tell us, you know, what it is that you've done before and all that, because it's going to be very, very difficult to do. I would even say it's more dangerous for the creator than it is for a backer. A backer is ultimately just going to lose some money, but a creator is going to lose their mind trying to. Clearly, this is somebody, I think, seems to me like somebody that's really, really devoted to doing this, to making this project come to life. It's not just some sort of flash in the pan scam. So start smaller and work your way up. This is actually a second attempt at doing this. He had a very similar project beforehand. The very inflated number here, the 48K with only 20 backers, is also not a good sign. If we go all the way down here, you can see something like, for instance, this pledge of £5,000 has 5 backers. So 5 backers have chosen to become a god in Alpha Life. Maybe Undertate's one of them. And yeah, just so watch out for that. There are plenty of Kickstarter projects that have done this before. I don't want to name names. So it's not like completely unheard of or indicative of a scam. But when you have a very big project and you need to get the ball rolling, then sometimes people do this. So be aware of that. But the reason not to back this project now would simply be because I think that the people involved or the creator involved is biting off more than they can chew. What I like to do for these videos is to just kind of go below these little projects that we love that are being promoted via magic and always being put at the top, and just seeing what's kind of being left behind. Okay, so I also not click on NSFW things. There's a lot of NSFW games. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, but there's just a lot of them on Kickstarter. It's a place to go if that's what you're looking for. All right, so we're gonna look at this one. Is called Arise Armandel, a roguelike medieval video game. Let's take a look. All right, so I'm not sure if we're zoomed in here for the sake of the video, but it does seem like we're very zoomed in, what you'd normally see in a game like this, which is interesting. Could just be for the video, for those sweet pixel graphics. Okay, so you carry your sword on your... Oh, okay, so I guess it's just following your cursor. That's why it's on his shoulder. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that didn't show much of the game. I think all we're going to need to see there is a little bit more of the actual gameplay before anything else. I think that the... goal of $120 you'll probably hit that, but you probably would do a lot better if you just had a little bit more gameplay, like actually fighting things. I think we saw a glimpse of it here. Yeah, so see, we already had an attack and an enemy being defeated there. Could use maybe some combat text, but definitely relaunching the video as soon as possible with a little bit more action would do a lot of good, because $120 is something you can reach by phoning your grandma probably. So I'm not sure that that'll be enough to make the video game, but all right. So this one's interesting. It seems to have just launched, I believe. It's 29 days to go. It's called Indie Rumble, an indie crossover platform fighting game. So it's maybe something like Smash Bros with indie based-ish. It looks like some knockoffs of indie titles. Let's see what we got. Okay, so funny cartoon to begin this. Looks like a Flash animation from back in the day. Well, that poor cook is not having a good day. All right, so there we've actually got some gameplay. So yeah, definitely looks like a Smash Bros like. I'm a big Smash Bros fan, so interesting. Now, for this game, this is kind of an interesting conundrum here, because what we have here is clearly going to be a Smash Bros like game. Now, I don't believe that we have any actual licensed indie game properties. It looks like things that are just kind of adjacent to it. So I don't know that you're going to get any fans joining because of that. So what's interesting is you have to still give people a compelling reason to play this game rather than just Smash Bros again, right? And I don't know that you will be able to do that. So what I might recommend for something like this, I would say this is probably going to work better as a free-to-play game, particularly if it's going to be multiplayer driven. It looks like they do have a CPU, at least a sort of punching bag version of them, but I'm sure that they'll have some kind of bot. So we got 8-player local mode, up to 4 players online with rollback netcode. Yeah, so this does look like it's going to be mostly going to be a multiplayer-driven game. So one of the things you might consider here, if there's any trouble, it doesn't look like there's going to be trouble hitting this goal. I think they'll definitely reach it. There's a demo available, so I might give it a try too. But definitely going free to play for this one would be a possibility, and being able to purchase additional characters or skins or things like that could work, simply because you have to say, well, why wouldn't I play Smash Bros? Well, this is free, so might as well give it a try, that kind of thing. Once you get the ball rolling, once people would be talking about it and saying, hey, it's worthwhile, then no problem. But that's the only problem that I would see with a game like this, is just the convincing a player to put their time into this instead of just loading up Smash Bros again. The fact that it's going to be on Steam, I think, let's see, yeah, on Steam, is also different. So that's nice in case people don't have a Switch. This is going to, of course, appeal to them. They may not be Smash Bros fans if they don't have a Switch, but we'll see. Interesting looking game. That's definitely one to look for. Indie Rumble. Give it a look. I might be playing the demo on a video later. Business of Loving, an NSFW visual novel. We got a lot of that. Okay, so we're looking at VenusBlood GAIA English Localization Project. We wish to bring the SRPG visual novel VenusBlood GAIA overseas with this English localization, and we hope you will support us. So I'm not exactly sure why the goal is $96,204 for a localization. Let's take a look at how much work. I have no idea what VenusBlood GAIA is, so we're going to look at this and see why it would cost so much. Oh no, birth rates have plummeted. Oh, it looks like it's already in English, guys. Mission accomplished. Okay. Animus. Waifus. Chibis. Was one of their name is Titty? Okay, there's a lot of different factions, but what's the game? Oh my goodness. There's the game. What is this? I'll tell you what this makes me feel like. It feels like whenever you go to one of those like anime stores, and then there's like a bunch of little like charms or chains or something for an anime you've never seen before, and so you just see like a bunch of characters, and you think like, wait a second, have I seen this? Do I know what this is? And they all look vaguely familiar, but they're just different enough that you're like, that's not this character. That's not from Record of Lodoss War. That's not from Escaflowne or whatever. You know, that's like showing how boomer I am, right? Boomeranime.com. Let's see. All right, are we gonna see what the game is about? Oh my God, gameplay introduction. There it is. So you chibi fight. What in the universe? What in the heavens? My goodness. I have no idea what's going on. Whoa. God, there was a little centaur. Ah, a golden blue whale. Geez, that was fast paced. Okay, so let's see. Oh my goodness, it's a demon spawning tentacle turn-based dungeon defense strategy RPG. So this definitely has some fans. There are 745 backers, but whaling it up with almost 2K. That has been translated from yen, I think. Maybe they just don't know what they're getting into. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna throw down $1 billion here, a cool billion. Feeling like Elon Musk buying Twitter. Instead, they're over here funding tentacled spawning dungeon defenses. So that is Gaia International, VenusBlood GAIA International Editions. And so if that looks interesting to you, it looks very old school to me. This takes me back to my boomer era of video games and anime. Maybe this is very old. It looks old. It looks like something from like in late 90s or something, like not even late 90s. I could have seen this in the 90s and just thought, oh, cool, a little anime game. Okay, so I guess there's a whole lot of text because there's not much voice acting cost, but the translation costs are huge here, 50%. So that would mean that the translation would have been slated to cost something like $50K. If it's just to English, which it is allegedly just to English, I'm guessing that what's going on here is that they're going to do the voice acting in English, but they're wanting to make the translation happen in a lot of languages. But then again, this is a visual novel, so maybe they do have that much text. Anyway, that's VenusBlood GAIA English localization project. Definitely has some fans, so if that looks like something that interests you, give it a look. So I'll really briefly mention Rusty Sword Runelock Island because Kira already talked about this. This is a Zelda-like, so if you're a real big fan of Zelda-likes, go give this one a look. Rusty Sword Runelock Island. We'll just give it a glance really fast. So here it is. Very, very Zelda-like. Nice and colorful though, so give it a look if these kind of games are your thing. Next, we're taking a look at SCP Fragmented Minds, an action-packed horror experience. In case you're not familiar with SCP, it's kind of like an internet Twilight Zone / X-Files thing where they come up with haunted stories and spooky things that must be, I think it's something like secure, contain, and protect. So it's kind of like a bureau of investigations for bizarre creatures and occurrences. Mostly creepypasta type stuff. So we're in a gory place with gory things. And it's your boy Cthulhu. Humanity is on the brink of destruction. The last shred of hope lies in an abandoned Martian facility. So I guess that all of these creatures are based on SCP stuff. I'm not really that well versed in it, but I would be shocked if this weren't accurate to the SCP lore. Okay, so it's in a first-person shootery sort of style. So you're also maybe going to do some crafting. Cryo grenades and melee weapons of all types. Oh, that's a cool ability. That thing wasn't very aware. Sneak through the shadows. Got a flamethrower here. It's giving me a little bit of Resident Evil type vibes there. Lots of crabs and zombies and Cthulhus. Will you survive? Oh no. It's a Wendigo. Or will you die? So that looks pretty nice. Definitely well rendered. Lots of action. Again, this was a project that they didn't deem to love, but looks very well put together. So yeah, it does have... It says play it now on Steam. So it has a demo. There it is. And of course it has a lot of other content that you can look through here. If SCP kind of stuff is your thing, I would come take a look. I can't really talk much about it because I don't know enough to say, oh, that, of course, that's the kooky ostrich that everyone knows about. I have no idea about what these things are. So if you're a fan, go and check it out. It looks very well put together, honestly. There's a demo, so if it doesn't work, you know, give it a try first and then don't get it. But if it works, there you have it. SCP Fragmented Minds, an action-packed horror experience. All right, and for the last project, we're going to be looking at Chester's Revenge, an action-packed 80s themed retro 2D shooter, sort of in a Cuphead, Mega Man, and Metal Slug style. So this is a really nice trend that I've been seeing here. There's a lot of demos on these Kickstarter projects, which is always good to see for a game that kind of has to lead with its gameplay. But let's take a look at its trailer. Okay, so this is an interesting combination. It's sort of like a, I don't know, I want to say more towards later 90s, definitely Super Nintendo or later kind of vibe to it. Not really 80s. Now, I am a guinea pig aficionado, owning a couple guinea pigs myself. So this is, in their own words, a badass guinea pig out for revenge. I'm not sure what the revenge is about, but I guess probably his guinea pig wife was captured or murdered or something. It does look very cool. I mean, if you're of my generation, somebody that grew up with games that look like this, it doesn't have what I think the kids would call a retro vibe, but this is a true retro vibe. It looks like something, to me, more like out of the 90s. They say it's 80s inspired, so it's probably 80s, as they said, pop culture inspired. The chip tunes are obviously more 80s style, but the graphics look to me to read more 90s. Maybe some of the later 80s arcades could have hit something close to this. It's been a while, so it's all kind of a blur to me. But I will probably be playing this one as well, maybe making a video about it if I have the time. So that's been it for this look at the projects that we don't love, but maybe we should. Some of them you might love, so give them a look. And if you like these videos, or if you want to see more videos about indie games and MMOs, please like, subscribe, comment, let me know if I missed any games that I should look at. Maybe I can drop back in and do a quick pickup video. So if you've got a Kickstarter game out there that you want me to look at, just let me know in the comments below. Thanks.